Hi, folks that have just joined. Could you do me a favor and switch off your microphones just in case something happens in the background or...
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Graham.
Oh, hey, Graham.
Morning.
Hey, Maureen.
So we'll maybe give it another couple of minutes to see if anybody else is going to turn up. Hopefully they will. So,
if they don't, then you just have to tell them, everyone.
Yeah, that's it. If nobody's guessed already, has anybody guessed what the exciting announcement was going to be? Any hands up there? No idea. No idea. The exciting announcement is that we've got everybody tickets to this London Screenwriters Festival, which starts from the 5th. If I just quickly share my screen, I'll show you the website quickly, but I won't go into too much detail because I know Maureen wants to go into it. We've got your tickets for this screenwriting festival, which lasts pretty much the whole of February. I'll post a link on the Teams, but you'll see the amount of people that are involved is crazy, and the things they've been involved with is crazy. He was in The Thing, things like that. So yeah, lots of interest in all sorts of genres, different things, but this is why Maureen is here today to chat to you. Yes. So I don't know, Maureen, if you want to introduce yourself to the folks that don't know you.
Yeah, of course. Hi. My name is Maureen Hascoet. I'm a filmmaker based here in Cumbernauld, in Carbrain. And yeah, I moved here 2 years ago. And before that, I was in London for about 12 years. And Chris Jones, the festival director, is one of the first contacts I ever made back when so I went to film school in LA like eons ago, and then I came back to London because I'm probably the one French person you'll meet who doesn't like French cinema, apart from like Besson. So coming out of film school and being in London, I knew no one. So my parents thought it was a crazy idea, but I just thought, I've got a bit of chutzpah. I'll just hit all the studios and let them know I'm here. And of course, something's going to turn up. Cut to 9 months later, after sending, so I ended up living in Ealing. And I don't know if you heard about Ealing Studios, but Ealing Studios is the longest, like the oldest working studio in the UK. And they produce as well. So they used to produce the Ealing comedies, basically, with Alec Guinness and all of that. Like, yeah. So I was like, I live right here. I have to go and, make my mark somehow. So I ended up going to the cyber cafe next to me back when that was a thing. That tells you how old I am. And I started sending my email and my CV to every single company in Ealing Studios every day for the best part of 9 months, just because I thought repetition is key for some reason. No one got back, no one, except for Chris, who still has his company in Ealing Studios. And Chris Jones is the writer, the author of the Guerrilla Filmmaker Handbook, which became a series. And I had read it back when I was a film student. So I was like, oh. And he ended up sending me an email going, look, I got your CV. I don't have anything for you, but let's have coffee. So we had coffee, and it was just at the time where he had a short film that he had just filmed called Gone Fishing that was shortlisted for an Oscar. So I ended up spending a month sort of working experience sending his film to all festivals around the world and helping him with that. And we made a connection, and I think a few years later is when he started the LSF, the London Screenwriters Festival. So I've been involved pretty much since. And this is the 10th year that the festival is running for. If you go out after this and start looking into Chris Jones and the Guerrilla Filmmaker and everything, you'll see the pattern. Chris is slightly outside of the norm, as in, he loves blockbusters, he loves mainstream films, he loves horror and genre films, and he really tries to include everyone, and he makes the festival feel like a massive production, like a blockbuster production. And the idea is that it's a community, so no one's out of reach. During the festival, you can reach out to anyone. So you'll see when you, I'll show you in a second, I'll share my screen, but when you go and create your profile, I have the same profile, Chris has the same profile, the speakers will have the same profile. So you're all of us on the same par, like on a par with, you know, Oscar winners. And that's really the idea behind the festival, is that it's about networking, it's about, you know, believing in yourself. So there's as much self-development in there as there is filmmaking. It's about inspiration, it's about looking after yourself so that your best ideas can come through. And yeah, it's about legends. So we have a few, well, I'll show you in a second, but we have a few legends coming on our panels. Before I share my screen, I'll tell you three things. We have three kinds of sessions. So we have Q&As, like conversations. So usually it'll be between an hour and a half. And it's a typical, you know, 45-minute conversation, moderated conversation with someone of interest. And then there'll be a Q&A so you can interact with the guest. And then there are script to screens, which are my favorite, where basically, if you think of a DVD with the running commentary of the screenwriter or the actors, or it's basically what it is that you log on, we screen the film with the muted soundtrack, and we interview the writer or the actor or the director. And that's the other thing, is like, it is a screenwriters festival, but we get directors involved, you know, just like, I'm sure your tutors tell you, but from the moment you write something, or actually when you shoot something, you want to think about post before you start the film, like before you start production. That's the same thing, is like, you want to start thinking about ideas and about, you know, you want to start including, you know, directors and stuff when you're actually writing the script potentially. So I'll shut up now and I'll show you the blockbuster teaser trailer that Chris came up with. If I can do this, let's see. Go and friend Chris Jones on Facebook. He'll friend anyone, and he's a very good resource to have. Let's do this. There we go. And then share screen. Does that work? Let's do this. Share. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, is it gonna play? That's the other question. Oh, is that just the picture? Sorry. That's his cover photo. Live and learn. There you go. That should be it. So you can see it runs for a month, 5th to the 28th. There we go. Sound better. Come on. Oops. I'll get there. Sorry. Can I expand it? Sorry.
No, no problem.
I am not in charge of the tech in the festival. There we go. I think my internet is also quite slow.
Yeah, this is the problem with Zoom and pandemics.
It's gonna come back up. Oh, it was so good. I'll put you right back in the wood in a second. Go. Come on. I tried this before as well, and it works. Let's see.
Wow.
Okay.
That was an epic video. I'll maybe see if I can find it. I'll put it in the chat so the folks can see it afterwards.
Yeah,
So.
I'll send it to you. I know I can see it better. But basically, it puts you in the mood, right? It's like, it's about connection, it's about inspiration, and it's about putting yourself out there and just, you know, reaching out for your dreams, really. Because Hollywood is nothing, it's not, you know, the industry of dreams. So yeah, it's about making it happen and be like, whoop, okay, no, sorry. Now I won't shut up, wait. What? Where am I? Okay, here we go. Sorry. So yes, it's about being part of that, basically. And this year is an amazing year to be part of it, because I was just telling Alec just a minute ago, usually the way the LSF would happen would be in the center of London, in Regent's University. We would hold a 3-day packed event, and we would fly people from Hollywood, like some people from all over the world, and, you know, have a massive event with like 800 delegates and 250 speakers. Now, obviously, with the pandemic, this is not happening anymore, at least for a little bit, a little while. So the good thing for us about that is that with Zoom and with what we're doing right now, anyone is potentially within reach. So we're able to have sessions that we wouldn't necessarily have otherwise, because no one wants to sit, you know, like apart if you're in a movie theater, no one wants to sit in front of the screen and watch a Zoom with someone, you know. So you can have, for example, my best session, because I'm going to be moderating some talks as well, will be with Michael Petroni, I think. So he's the showrunner of Messiah on Netflix. And this is typically someone that, you know, he's at a great level in his career and he's made amazing things happen. Would we have flown him from Australia for the LSF? Potentially not. But with Zoom and with this pandemic, we still have access to him, and it'll be a very strong session. So I'll take you through, if I can screen share again, the websites that you will have access to once you're in, and the sessions and the schedule. So share screen. So it will happen from the 5th. So it starts this Friday. It's not giving me an option to share. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. Share. Can you see this? Can you see the website?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is the Screenwriters Festival online website. So there are 2 websites, one for the regular LSF, and this is the online version of the festival. So home February festival. So it's taking place from the 5th to the 28th. And then if I take you through, so this is the homepage, obviously. If I take you through Feb Festival and the schedule, for example. So once you're on the website, you can watch the sessions there. So once you log on, this is a platform where you can watch the session. You'll be invited to join a group on Facebook as well. You can also watch it there, or there's an app, so you can also watch it on the app. So you'll have a quick start festival guide, watch live. So this is where you can watch the sessions live. And then if I show you the schedule, maybe.
Sure.
So the headliner for this festival is Fan Densham, who's the writer of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Oh, wow.
Geeking out. He's going to be very good. He's very quirky as well. It takes a while to load because it's my computer, but it's going to happen.
Is that Kevin Reynolds that was the director for that film?
Yeah, we had Kevin a few years ago as well. So there you go. That's on Friday at 7:30 p.m. is the big launch with Chris Jones and Bob Schultz. Bob is the festival producer, and he is an American writer and producer. And yeah, they're gonna sort of amp up the energy and make sure that you're ready for the next session, which is Peter Craig, Hollywood Screenwriter in Conversation. And Peter Craig, for example, wrote Mockingjay. And then you'll see, so these are the big sort of headline sessions. Typically, the sessions will happen in the evening. It could be because we think our delegates are working or have other commitments during the day, or it could be also because some people will be with a massive time difference so that we can catch them still. And we have in the programming of the festival, we make sure that there are, people you want to see, like, Pendensham or the guy from Mockingjay, but also people who teach. So you'll have access to teachers from, the best universities in the world, like Scott Myers. He teaches at UCLA, and he's very good, actually. Usually he's very popular. His sessions are very popular. Feel Good in 30 Days with Pat Higgins. See, this one is at 2 p.m. I think that's this weekend. So you'll have Q&As, I mentioned. You have script to screens, and sometimes we'll add Zoom rooms. So what we would do at the festival typically is, if a session is very popular and we feel like an hour is not enough, and we feel like the delegates want to continue the conversation, we would organize a breakout room, and some of the delegates could go in the room and continue the conversation with the speaker if the speaker has agreed to it. So our online version of that is organizing after the session a Zoom room, where you can continue and interact with the guests. Pilar Alessandra, she's in LA, she's amazing. She's a very entertaining speaker. And she talks like, this one is about brainstorming through the block, the writer's block. And then we have Pendensham, and I won't take you through the whole month of festival, but just so you see the different format of sessions that we offer. So for example, this one on Sunday morning, every Sunday morning, Bob will hold a writer's cafe, which is basically, if you think of your day with like slots, and you just slot that time just to write or to come up with ideas, or, you don't need to interact, you don't need to do anything, you don't even need to have your camera on, but it's just blocking that time and being in the community where you feel like other people are also doing it, and you just feel like the creative community happening, really. So there's that. There's the equivalent in the evening as well. So this one, Bob does the Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. In a second, I'll show you there's another team member, Savannah Morgan. She'll do the late night cafe. So there's a slot from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. For the night owls who are better inspired at night. So yeah, again, another session. Netflix is going to be huge this year because it is. So we got quite a few writers from series from Netflix. This one I'm looking forward to, and it might be interesting for students as well, how we made a lockdown feature on a phone that has sold around the world. So yeah, that's happening next week. Or is that this Sunday? Sorry, this Sunday. Monday Momentum with Caroline Ferguson. There'll be different aspects of screenwriting being talked about, from developing characters to the hero's journey. There'll be slots that we just haven't filled yet because people are still coming back to us. So like this Monday, 8 a.m. Actually, I'm in talk with someone about that slot for Monday. 8 p.m. The other things we want to do is just make sure that, so for example, we'll have a mental health session, like, keeping your mental health through this all what's happening, especially for creatives. So there'll be things like that. That's what I meant with part self-development, part writer's craft. There'll be a Zoom room with Pendensham on the 8th at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. so that you can actually ask him questions and interact with him. And then, yeah, so that's what the schedule looks like. I can, late night writers cafe, that's what I was mentioning. Yeah. Crowdfunding, tales of personal transformation. So you just, you pick and choose whatever resonates with you, wherever you're at, whatever you feel like you would get the most from. I love the discovery of witches, so I'm very happy that she's coming. Discovering a career in screenwriting with Kate Brooke. Maintaining your creative edge with Gary Goldstein. So that's what I mean. We have a mix of like craft and inspiration, and from real people who have actually succeeded in making this into a career, Linda Potgieter. Linda is based in Australia. She's a coach. She used to be on the PR team for Nelson Mandela. So that's what I mean about inspiration. She has a thing or two to share as well. And yeah, different genres, The Thing, Saturday Night at the Movies. So that's the script to screen, 8 p.m. to 10:15. And yeah, another Sunday morning Writers Cafe. So you get the gist. If I show you quickly the speakers list, am I boring you to death, or are you kind of feeling excited
no.
about this?
No,
Okay.
it's amazing.
Festival, if I go back one, then it gives me the speakers as well. And we'll always we're always adding speakers. So what I do for the festival at the moment is I'm producing sessions, so I'm sourcing speakers. And I moderate some of the talks. So the talks I'll moderate are with, at the moment, I've got Sarah Gavran, who is doing the festival run and the awards run for Rocks on Netflix right now. My thing is women in film. So I've got the female gaze panel coming together as well, with someone that you might have met, actually, I believe, Sarah Harkins from the Outlander training scheme. She's going to be, she's a BBC producer as well, so she's going to be on my panel.
Brilliant. Wow.
Speakers, there we go. Yeah. So what I find interesting is sometimes you don't, you know the project, you know the film, you know the documentary, but you don't necessarily know the team, apart from maybe the director, who gets a lot of credit. But actually, it really starts with the writer. There's no there's no screenplay, there's no film. So I'm very excited about Bruce Joel Rubin. He wrote Ghost, and if you were born when that story was released, yeah, it would be a very good session. I got Andrienne for the festival, and she wrote Contact. She's a very good session as well. I mean, I'm just psyched about Maureen, because she wrote Brave. And there we go, Sarah Gavran, she wrote Suffragette as well, with Meryl Streep. Scott Myers, I mentioned. Gary Goldstein, who's a producer on Pretty Woman. This is what I mean. See, this is like, you get my voice now, but like you go through the website and you do it in your voice, whoever like psyched you out about, seeing. I got Michael Brent for the festival. He's really cool. He wrote Wanted and Too Fast, Too Furious. His script to screen is going to be 3:10 to Yuma, and it's a Western, because it's something a bit different. Ben Densham, just really looking forward to hearing what he's going to say. Lee Jessup is a career coach. So, she'll have lots of good tips about, every next step in your career and making it happen, and what you need to make it happen. Linda Podgater, she's the one I mentioned as well. Doctor Who screenwriter here, Lisa McMullen. David Nicholas Wilkinson, he used to be an actor. He's now a documentary filmmaker, and somewhere in between, he worked in distribution as well. So that's why, I mean, you'll also get people who just know a little bit about everything and will have pearls of wisdom to impart. Carol Griffiths, she's amazing. So in all that lineup, you'll have people who you'll just connect with, and you just send them an email, and all of a sudden they'll be in your life forever. That's what, that's why I shared my story with Chris. It does happen. I mean, filmmaking is all about who you know, and all of a sudden this world of people has, crashed into your living room and opened opportunities. So yeah, Pat Higgins. There you go. Oh, that's me on a very good day, as you can tell. These are the moderators. So these are people who have contacts in the industry, or are not afraid to go and ask, and then also hold the conversation, basically. They'll have different genres. Like, my thing I said is women, like I'm interested in women in film, and, be it, see it, be it kind of impulse. And for example, Lisa McMullen, her thing is comedy, so she'll be a better moderator for comedy stuff. And Savannah is a rock star. You'll get to know her. She's the one who'll send the welcome email. And this is Chris Jones, the man, the legend. So there you go. I'll stop sharing now. And if you have any questions or remarks or comments, or letting me know who you're interested in seeing, feel free.
Any questions, folks?
No, I've already just started writing a list.
All right, okay, there you go. All set.
Good man.
Great. Anybody else got a question for Maureen?
Oh, let me know. I would love to hear like who you're looking forward to seeing, meeting, talking about, or to, or you know. My highlights won't be the same as your highlights, I'm sure, depending on the genres you like, or the films that marked you when you were growing up. So yeah. So yeah, feel free. I'm here as well. I'm a resource. I'm a contact now, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram, or send me an email with any question, and yeah, happy to answer.
I have a question, Maureen.
Yeah.
So I hear you actually live in Cumbernauld.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you lived in LA, moved to London, or you lived in London, then moved to LA, and now you live in Cumbernauld. So I was just wondering what that's like for you.
Do you want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
Just because it's that's, for me, that's how life rolls, and I'm a lot into self-development as well. So I hope you don't mind and you don't think it's like BS, but I really believe in it, and I love seeing how life works and when you keep going. So I was born in Paris. My parents moved to Brittany, which is northwest, and I just felt like it wasn't my scene. So I mean, it was in many ways, but I just needed bigger, and I wanted to go for it. So I've been sort of my godfather, the person I consider my godfather, sort of brought me to LA a few times, and I just loved it, and I managed to get there for 1 full year, and that was my dream, really. And it happened a bit late for me, as in, well, what's late, but it happened when I was like 23, 24. I went to film school. Before that, I'd come to London to be a teacher, so I taught French and Spanish in a secondary school in Peterborough near Cambridge. It wasn't my scene either.
Okay.
So all hail teachers, because I can't do it. So yeah, and then I moved to LA for a year, and that was just amazing. That opened my my world big time. But at the same time, it was like, this is what I wanted to do, but actually it's not. I'm not feeling myself living there. I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be, like full time. So I came back, but again, I didn't want to go back to Paris because I'd done that, and I came back to London because I didn't like teaching, but I loved London. And while I was a teacher, before film school, I used to come up to Scotland for half terms and stuff, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it. So I just thought, yeah, I could see myself living there. If I come back from LA, I'd come and live in Scotland. For some reason, I didn't, and I went to London, and 12 years later, I live in a really small flat with 2 kids and a husband, and I just feel like my life needs to be, I don't know. London is amazing, but it's very from the outside in, and I just felt like I needed to give myself a proper shot at filmmaking and really go for it. Which I've been in and around the industry in London, but working for people and with people that I didn't necessarily, engage with like authentically. So I just thought, yeah, I need a massive rebrand.
Okay.
And I was like, what do I love? What do I, if I want to make content, what is it that I love? And I love Outlander. So I gave my notice. I used to work as an agent. I used to work for a film school. Then I used to work for an agent, as an agent. And I gave my notice in because I was just coming out of my maternity leave. And half an hour later, I had nothing. I just gave my notice and I had nothing. I just had a feeling. So half an hour later, I get an email. I still don't know how my email got onto that list, but I got an email from Outlander saying, we're looking for, that trainee scheme that they have. So assistant directors is the post that sort of most spoke to me. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So I applied, but it was only open for Scottish residents. There you go, Brexit, another European coming to take your jobs. So I applied, and I couldn't apply without a Scottish postcode. So I was like, oh, but I don't want to lie, but at the same time, I really want to go for it. And it turns out that one of my best friends is Scottish originally, and she moved to France a month before I moved to Scotland. So anyway, her family has the ruins of a castle in East Lothian. So she was like, I'll give you the postcode for the castle. Let's just hope they don't Google it. But it's a postcode in Scotland. So I used that, and the application went through. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got 6 weeks to move. Because if I have an interview, and I was pretty like sure of myself, of course I was going to get an interview because, you know, you need to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lie. I don't want to arrive and, you know, just be fresh off the train from London and go like, yeah. So I was like Googling Campbell. And then I lined up a few houses to see, and I was really surprised at the sizes of the houses. I was like, hello, this is where they keep the lights. So I saw this house in Calbrain, and I was like, yep, got it, great. And I moved my whole family, my 2 kids, changed my daughter's school, brought up my husband here, and yeah, 2 days later, I got a no from Outlander.
Oh,
Not
brilliant.
even an interview, nothing. I bet you thought the story would end differently. But yeah, no, nothing. So, and I made sure that, you know, she knew me, that she knew my name, that, you know, I knew who was recruiting and all of that. And maybe I should have seen the red flag when she sent me an email going, because I told her, you know, I have a foot in Scotland, but I'm mostly based in London, like, you know. And she's like, oh, I'm very concerned that you should make such a big life move. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's a red flag, but never mind. Without the guarantee of an interview, she said. So anyway, here I am. And then, you know, cut to 2 years later, I discovered Campbell. I really got engaged with the community, with Carbrain. And Ward Park Studios is such an amazing resource. I got myself an appointment with the chairman, with the owner,
Oh, right. Okay.
and managed to get, you know, a coffee with him somewhere with the relaxation of all the rules. Managed to get my TEDx Communal Women event shot from Ward Park, so that was last November, and I got some money to run a course from the Scottish government that I'm still sort of developing, so I'll be back in touch about that. But with that, I went to the producer of Outlander because he was in touch about TEDx Communal Women, because he had to give his blessing for us to shoot there. And so I had his email, and then I emailed him and I go, look, I've got this money from the Scottish government to run a course. Is there anything you can do? And he was like, oh yeah, sure. Please meet my training manager.
Sarah.
The woman who said no 2 years ago. So there we go. We had a Zoom. I still don't know if she knows who I am. I don't care. It was perfectly nice. And now she's on my panel for the female gaze at the LSF.
Hey,
So there
right,
you go.
okay.
Life doesn't
Wow.
always work out the way you think it will be, but it will if you keep pushing or keep keep true to what you want to do. That was a very long story, but there you
No,
go.
it's good.
Life story for the last 2 years.
No, I'm sure the students would really like find that interesting in terms of like the amount of effort and work you have to put in. Like it's a graft.
Totally. That's my biggest lesson of the last 2 years is there's no shortcut.
Yeah.
There's no but it's so rewarding just seeing how, you know, what's meant for you. What's the Scottish? I can never say it, and it doesn't sound right when I say it.
What's for ye will no go by ye, or something
there
like
you
that.
Go. And you've got that on your wall, don't you?
I got a card a couple of weeks ago. Sean was asking, who's your favourite screenwriter and why?
Ooh, goosebumps. Well, there's personally, and then because now I've met quite a few, and there's their work. So their work, I don't know, it's difficult without the. Sometimes I don't know if you find that, but the first script will be amazing, and then the second, like, yeah, okay, and you know, we're not all, you know, the second act is always a bit trickier. I mean, my all-time film, I'll tell you that my favorite film is Dances with Wolves. So when we got Pendulum, I was like, you need to get me Kevin Costner. And yeah, Dancing with the Wolves for me, I saw it when I was 7, which is way too young, but it really made a massive imprint on me. And that's what I'm like, you know, I'll get there. The way I got there in one park, I'll get there too. That fit level of filmmaking in a few years. But yeah, Dances with Wolves is really amazing. And I just saw the interview with Kevin Costner about how he came across like the writer, because the writer who wrote the novel ended up writing the film as well, and died a few years ago. Yeah. Right. But that's an amazing story. I'm all for epics, so you know, Ridley Scott films, Gladiator, yeah, an epic film, like Gone with the Wind, you know, going back a few years. Yeah, man, loads. I don't know, hard to tell. Yeah, loads. And then there's different genres as well. What's yours, Alec? What's your favorite screenwriter or favorite film?
The Thing, for a long time, was my favorite film.
The Thing?
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm definitely going to check into the actor that's been on the festival. Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah, big John Carpenter fan. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, I find there's one film that makes you like at least, or maybe a couple, but that means that you're here today wanting to learn more about film, right? Like for me, there's Dances with Wolves, there's Singing in the Rain, there's Fiddler on the Roof. I'm a big musical fan as well. But yeah, there's, you know, the sprinkles of magic that it brings to you. Anyway. That's the girly side.
Has anybody got any other questions for Maureen? Oh, here we go. There's another question from Sean. If you were to give one piece of advice to the students here on Zoom, what would it be?
Do you know, that's such a good question, because I just got off a meeting with the team of the LSF. That's the last question every moderator will ask every guest. What's one piece of advice? One piece of advice from me, Sean, is keep going if that's really what you have inside. And no matter what rejection you have, it's never rejection, it's redirection. That's my big lesson that I've learned in the last few years as well, is if it feels right and if that's what you want to do, then just keep going no matter what, no matter, yeah, the storms that you have to weather. That's part of your hero's journey. You'll get there in the end.
Wow, that's great advice. So it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. I've not heard that before. That's brilliant.
I think so.
Anybody got any other questions? Is that us?
What about the login sign up?
We'll sort that out. We'll send you the details, Graham. So.
Yeah, so as soon as that's done from the college side, then you'll each get, basically, they're going to give out your email addresses. So in your email, you'll get the login details and you can set yourself up that way. And feel free to use, like, it's a massive tool and there's like so much going on. And that's the idea, is that, you know, we get everything going on Facebook. For a month, we blast it out into the universe. So feel free to use any of the mediums that works for you, like, and, you know, talk about it, share, really, like, I can't understate how, I think, unique a resource it is as well, because, you know, another big thing in the filmmaking world is gatekeepers. And the way I see and why I love the festival is because for a month, there's no more gatekeepers. You have access, you really to ask questions to anyone on the panels, in the moderators. And you know social media, how it works. You link up with someone, they'll have a network. Even just linking up with me, linking up with Chris, you know, you're opening yourself up to a whole world of people. So yeah, really, I think that's
massive networking opportunity for everybody that's just starting out. Yeah.
And don't be ashamed of where you are, like, and don't, like, you know, I haven't made half of what I want to make. I'm really nowhere yet in my career compared to where I want to be, but that's fine. And, you know, I'm still a moderator. I still have access to these guys. And yeah, so, you know, I remember when I was a student, I was like seeing all these people that had made so much, and I was feeling a little bit like imposter syndrome. I still feel the imposter syndrome, but really it's okay to be wherever you are. And, you know, those guys also were where you are right now at some point. So it's about closing that bridge, closing that gap.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Maureen, for taking the time and speak to everybody and helping us out with those tickets. That's really great.
Yeah, no worries, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can everybody say thanks?
You're welcome.
Unmute yourselves if you want and say
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.
Cheers.
Thank you.
It'll be great to connect with you guys over the festival. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
I'm sure Kim's looking to chat with you and Alan as well, as further on down the line anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
It's been really great chatting to you today. Thanks very much again.
Thank you. Thanks, Alec.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, folks. Take care, folks. See you later.
Thanks, Maureen. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later.